risks of not having good governance. In case you don't have good governance, what do you start to lose as a Sacco? So risks of not having good governance. We name them fraudulence. If you don't have good governance, wale majamaa wanakuanga hapo juu anaweza amua apotee na resources za Sacco. And it came clearly in case studies.
Wanatafuta jina risk au ni pale tuliongelea. Tunaongea kwa case study.
Yes.
Against
so it means that if you have wrong leaders, they can sit somewhere, then they decide, sasa tunajilipaje hapa? Sasa ndio inaingia, what do we do? Or how do we use the name of the Sacco to get money, to access resources on the name of the Sacco, and then run away? Sawa. That's one of the risks. Another one?
Stagnation or decrease in membership.
Stagnation or decrease in membership. Where we don't have good governance, there is zero growth. And instead of growth, those ones, even the pioneers who are there, then start walking away. Isn't it? So the Sacco cannot grow. That's stagnation. It either remains there or it dwindles more. Isn't it? Another one?
poor reputation.
Poor reputation. Mtu akikwambia you have poor reputation. Even on an individual level, you have poor reputation. The only benefit you have, you can be used as a bad example.
No, it's a case study.
Yes, exactly. That's a poor example. So poor reputation. Mtu hawezi kukutrust ama kusema uzuri wako. Sawa. So you can't be trusted. You have poor reputation. Jina lako limeharibika. Another one? Risks of poor governance.
I think there will be reduced in saving of members and the shares.
Exactly. Uongozi ukiwa mbaya, hao wanachama watakaa hapa chini na wanyamazi. You will never see them remitting shares. You will never see them participating in Sacco activities because they lost trust. They can't trust the management. So if they don't trust the management, they cannot invest in that organization, which is the Sacco. Sawa. You know, even the Bible says that where your treasures are is where your heart is. So kama kule you cannot invest there. Do you think your heart can be there? So it means with good governance, we need to ensure that we attract members to serve. And when members serve, even their hearts will be in that Sacco. It's the Bible saying not to be. So. Another one, you heard something, repeat the same?
I didn't want to say that there will be lack of control and strategic alignment.
You didn't want to say, but you said, yeah? Thank you. Lack of control and lack of strategic alignment. Hakuna mwelekeo. Have you seen where maybe there is poor governance until even the management cannot engage members? They are unable even to put the relevant structures in place. Relevant structures, it means even the constitution of the Sacco cannot be followed. Isn't it? Because there is poor governance. Sometimes they say when we call for a meeting, kutawaka. Isn't it? So those are some of the risks of poor governance. Then from there we had about 2 or 3 case studies, which were very, very, very came in handy in terms of learning. It was like stories, but for any leader or anybody aspiring to be a leader. But I understand everybody is a leader, because even to manage yourself, you need to be a leader. So it came in very handy, those case studies. I might not be in a position to narrate the case studies. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I wish you a lovely and fruitful day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think he has done justice to that activity, isn't it? Now we want to move to the second activity. Mangalia stakeholders. So I hope we have all done our homework. Because this is something that you are supposed to go and try and come up with a list of stakeholders that we think are for our Sacco, isn't it? So sijui kama tupatie mwenzetu mmoja pia naye akuja hapa mbele, ama tuende kwa appoint mtu ananiambia, halafu anatupatia role ya huyo stakeholder. Nataka tukuwe na consensus. So this was an individual exercise, isn't it? It wasn't a group, eh? Ama ilikuwa mambo ya group? It was supposed to be undertaken individually, isn't it? So I want us to volunteer. Stakeholder wa kwanza wa Sacco, wakuitwa Casco, isn't it?
Sacco.
Sorry. So who is our part? Who's going to volunteer? Tuambie stakeholder wa kwanza wa hii Sacco yetu. But yes.
They are members.
Sacco members. Are you in agreement?
Yes.
What is their role? Isikuwe ni bahati peke yake. There's Brian.
I think to remit shares and savings.
Shares and savings. In agreement?
Yes.
What other role?
Participate in decision making.
Participate in decision making. That is Simon. In agreement? That one? The laws of members? Yes, my
Vote and be voted at certain points of leadership.
leadership.
Vote. That's the one. Actually, they should participate in voting or electing. How is that different from there? There's a decision. It's a decision. One of the decision is to elect. Sindio?
Yeah.
So it's part of decision, sindio?
Participate in decision making. What else? Nataka mtu ambaye hajaongoja Brian. Is this kiongozi?
Members can also help in the marketing and recruitment of new members.
Marketing and what? And recruitment. Are we doing that? If I may ask, who is the most vibrant person or the most vibrant member ambaye ameleta members wengi kwa hii Sacco? Simon. Simon, si hebu amka Simon. That's why the guy is very attentive. Simon, wale wameletwa na Simon, waamke waone. Umesema Simon, sasa naona Simon ule mtu ameleta ni mmoja. Umesema tuamke bana. Angalau wananchi waone bana, so that they can get motivation to see whatever Simon is doing.
Okay. Celebrate Simon. So Simon, how many other than the three? You feel you have brought more?
More than 20.
More than 20?
Yeah.
In a period of?
1.5 years.
Okay. 1.5 years.
Maybe, I don't know whether, I just wanted you to share with the rest of the members, because it's very key and very important, because that role of marketing and recruitment, you said we were 110. So out of 110, Simon ameleta 20. Out of 120. Tuko members wangapi? 110. So you can multiply, if you multiply 110 times 20, that is how many members?
18% of your members have come from one
person. Hebu imagine tungechukua jukumu kila mmoja wetu tukue tunaleta, kama tungekuwa tumefanya vile Simon anafanya. Hai tungekuwa tunakuwa na members wangapi? 20 times 110
times 20.
That is 2,000 members right now. So what is not happening? Need to engage into that discussion.
We're going to engage that.
Another road
of members.
Members. Unataka mjasema. Another loan of a member.
So share savings,
You remember the highlight?
decision.
Only who oversights the whole, who oversights the board, for example, apart from the supervisor?
Members.
Alafu,
Members to AGM.
through EGM. Any other? Before I move to the next stakeholder. Umesema shares and savings, participatory, making and recruitment, supervision. Kuna mwingine kabla sija next chapter?
I don't know if my point will be right, but I just want to.
Na tulisema hivi kwa adult learning hakuna kitu correct?
Right or wrong? No.
So ujiamini. Sawa eh?
So the members also participate in solving issues or
Solutions.
kama kuna watu wanakosana kidogo, the members can also chip in and
So conflict resolution. We also participate in conflict resolution. Sindio?
And at what level do they get involved in conflict resolution?
Bad governance.
But okay, at what level do they get involved? At the group level, they get involved at the AGM level, because we need also to know at what level is our members engaged with the Sacco.
Through committee.
Okay, suggesting committees
through AGM.
through AGM. Why that question is very important is because you'll see some of these suggestions may be overlapping completely. Let's take, for example, the issue of decision making. The issue of decision making is quite broad. One of the decision making is how do we reconcile teams? Okay, but can we go and reconcile teams in an AGM? There we go and make decision for the Sacco. Number two, when we say that supervision of the board, okay, as we supervise the board, what are we going to be doing? Is suggesting some of the decisions that we want to be made in an AGM. Okay. So when we talk about decision making, there's some levels of engagement. Possibly members are grouped in groups. Possibly. They are members of the Sacco, but they're also operating as group members somewhere before they become members of the Sacco. You become a member of the Sacco individually, and as you operate your business, you're also a group member elsewhere. And that group mechanism, possibly all those members of that group are members of the Sacco. So, assuming in a group there's a conflict, how can Sacco solve that conflict? It will not be solved by the members of the group. Okay? Then, if it is not solved, it's taken to management. The CEO, like that, Senor. Because majority of conflict may not necessarily, actually may not reach out the AGM. Just to peleka beef yangu na Sarah kwa AGM. That is not the interest of members, but it's the interest of a small cluster of people that we deal with. Okay? So as we talk about the role of a member, the cardinal role, there are three cardinal roles of a member, and one has not been said. One of them is, first of all, contributing to shares, because that's why you are a member, isn't it? The other cardinal role of a member is to make sure that you participate in regular savings. If you go to your bylaw, you'll see mechanisms that can contribute to you not being a member. And one of them is failure to make regular deposits for a period of ABC. And bado shares uko nazo. Okay? Because
Those are cardinal responsibilities of a member. This one that has not been said, and I will not give you the answer. It needs to be said, Jack. After we save, after we become members, so what?
Kwani mlikuwa mna save jiani? Mchangamshe akili.
Changamka, jamka. Yes, sir.
Take and pay loan.
Support the Sacco to do the business it was formed to do.
Support the Sacco.
To do the business it was supposed to do. Sasa tukiwa sisi sote ni kusave. Let's take a scenario. Did I share that scenario yesterday, Jack? A scenario whereby we are, I don't know that I shared yesterday. A scenario whereby we are 1,000 members. And I said that if we save 500 per month, we are 1,000 members, it will translate to how much? It will translate to 6 million in a year. Kweli? And still those 1,000, and we save 100 per month, it will translate to 1 million. Senor? Now I want us to equate those two figures. And the equation is, when you are 1,000, we don't expect all the 1,000 to come and buy. Si tuliona hapa jana, as we are doing sampling. So the percentage of people who may come to borrow initially may be very low. Okay? But the people who will need to borrow, they might consume the entire capital. Assuming the entire 6 million is saved consistently for 1 year. And then the following year, the entire 6 million is disbursed. Kupamoja? Do 6 million times 12%. Niambia is how much? 12% is per annum. And 720. Now, that 720 is a profit that you have generated by only increasing what? There are two drivers, either the membership or the amount to be saved. Okay? And therefore, that's why we normally call it savings and credit. The first business of a member is to save. The second business of a member is to borrow. Let's go fast forward. Does this Sacco pay dividends? Has it paid dividends? Not yet. Has it paid interest? Not yet. And one of the objectives of training a Sacco from other groups that we have talked to is part of investment. And how do you invest in a Sacco? Through shares. How do you invest in a Sacco? Through savings, isn't it? So the expectation is that out of the business the Sacco is doing, mwisho wa mwaka ama January hivi tutapata kitu. I love the way it is normally called. Where you are tunasikia kitu. Hapa nimesikia kitu. Yeah? But you remember the question we asked yesterday? What do you give to receive? What do you give to receive? You cannot receive dividends. You cannot receive interest if you have not given shares. You have not given savings. And if you have not borrowed, because where would the Sacco make money from? Niliwaambia hii biashara tunasema tunataka kuuza kuku kama Sacco, tutakuwa tukimobilize inputs. Utaenda hivi hata sitawaambia 3 years. Because that is trade. There's no financial institution that does trade. Okay? And when that trade becomes bigger, unfortunately, mtaanza kuona some conflicts. Ina faida kulika Sacco. You see? And therefore, you will definitely start having to manage very different dynamics. Okay? And that's why we are saying it's good to be aware of such things. Okay? That the Sacco can eventually be able to form entities and run the business, but they pay dividends like that. But let's focus on the Sacco. We are here because of the Sacco. If the Sacco does not lend, and if the Sacco can only lend to 110 people, sure, utapata dividend. Yakanenda.
And to add on to what my brother has said, ujue hiyo dividend ambayo anasema ni profit ambayo imetolewa all the costs.
Yes.
So Stacy ashalipwa, depreciation ishawekwa pale, rent imewekwa pale. Kwa hivyo kama pale bottom line negative, maanisha so we have a lot of work to do to make sure that there is a positive bottom line for us to demand for interest and also dividend.
So, back at this question.
Maisha ameshtuka bwana.
Nani?
Maisha. Maisha ameshtuka.
You have to give, receive. And you don't give and receive tomorrow. You give and be patient for the savings to grow. Okay? So that moment when you want to borrow, you are very clear. Your savings are adequate. You remember the lady who was here, she said that she has not borrowed, but she has guaranteed others. Okay? Now your savings can actually even guarantee others. But if you're looking for an opportunity to receive dividends or interest, the Sacco must make business. And see your business, you are profited in 120,000. There is something called reserve. What to say you make profit ya 120. Si vizuri kufanya hizi mahesabu.
Yeah.
120,000, you have to retain a minimum of 20% by the law. You're on 24,000. However, 120 may reduce to 96. 96,000 to say we want to distribute what percentage of our profit? Say 30%, sindio? So we are distributing 28,800. To how many people? 110. Sindio? Kila mtu anapata nini? 261. Sasa Safaricom ni hapa. Sasa siku moja mtachukua inaitwa tweaks. Edward, na utulipi? Sisi nyinyi ndio mmeinvest vibaya. Wapi? Where are the resources you have given the Sacco to do business? Okay? So the moral of this discussion of this stakeholder is that before that party comes in, to look at what we can do with that party. Internally, what have you done? And on that basis, assuming Edward and the other team want to go and talk to someone, nasikia hapa mnaweza patiana some support. Tunataka kubuild portfolio yetu. Okay? They need to go there knowing they are not weak. Because they are going to say, you know, we have been building this Sacco for the last 3 years. We have mobilized savings of 9 million. We've been trying to lend, and our lending has consumed the entire savings. Okay? Because we are doing 3 times multiplier. Now, because of this demand, and all of our enterprises are agree, we are looking for a portfolio of 5 million. Okay? Under the following terms. No. Hata wewe unajisikia ukienda kuambia ati terms, mtu terms zile unataka ku engage. Because umepatiwa nguvu na members. Lakini kama ana nguvu, yeye ndiye atakuwa akijipeleka. Mr. Stress na members. Wanaitisha bado natuna pesa. Sasa kama hamna pesa, why are you struggling to, you know? So wait, KCB nipatie 10%. Akikuja hapa na atuonga 20. Wewe umeridhika kwa sababu umepata loan. Wacha uanze kulipa. You realize you are paying at 10. Sio tia tu huko unajua. Ukisaini off document, kuambiwa 20% ulikuwa unasikia tu ni namba. You wanted the money. The other terms did not matter. Wacha uanze kulipa. They matter then. See, we agree. Hauko nieleza. My friend, anybody who is borrowing money is a person who needs to be taken care of like an egg. Because reputational risk ile anaweza lete kwa kampuni ni kubwa. Si ndio bahati?
Yes.
Big reputation. Kwa sababu atatoka hapo hivyo andika kwa mtandao. Hawa wasee wamekula pesa, nimeitisha loan sipati, nimesave. Na hawezi kubali makosa ni yake. Ni sawa? So we need to take care of what resources do we have to serve our members and what resources the members need to give us to serve them better. Ni sawa? Good. Simu yangu je? Haya.
So we progress with the discussion of stakeholder. And before even we engage to that, out of the 110, kama hiyo niliuliza jana. Hiyo tuliuliza jana. That one. I remember us talking about who are fully wale ambao wamelipa. And let me ask, and the governance, at the governance level, are they paying the same, are they doing the same saving as a regular member? Do they do, for you to be a leader, for you to be the chairman, for example, or the vice chair, do they do the same savings or the limits that they are supposed to save? Is it the same as a member? Ama limit yao iko juu?
For us, it's just the same.
Just the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Because from what I've seen happening is that for you to be a leader, you have to also showcase that you are leading by example. So in terms of savings, your savings are actually capped higher than the other members.
Yes, the minimum requirement, like 500, is same for all members, cross-cutting members and the leaders. But you find in our case, if you look at the records, you will find almost all the leaders, their savings are high. Not because it has been capped in our laws, but it is I can say it has just come naturally.
Naturally.
Yeah.
But it says, in essence, what I'm saying is that for you to have accepted that responsibility, I think we lead by examples. You are mobilizing savings, you are mobilizing shares. So in terms of savings, and I believe also my brother is going to talk about that one, the capping should be it should be actually capped higher than a regular member. That is what I've been seeing happening. For example, if the members are supposed to do like 5,000, a leader is given a target of like 10,000 or 20,000. So basically, I think that's something that I'm going to ask him to discuss on the same, for the sake of leadership. Kielelezo kwa wengine, si ndio? Haya. Kwenda kwa stakeholder wa pili. Kwa Sacco. Tulifanya hii exercise. Yes, Edward.
This is county government and the Ministry of Cooperative.
County government. So what is the role of the county government? Yes, sir. Licensing. Do they license? Or case? Certification. And the county government, is it the same as, that is, there is okay. It is involved, certification. What else?
Financing.
Financing.
That's why Kakamega County had a program of giving grants to cooperatives.
But one of the things that I like to advise you as a young Sacco, kujaribu sana sana kujiepusha na mambo ya politics. Because kama unataka sasa kumaliza Sacco, if you start now kunyemelewa na watu wa county government in the name of financing, it can easily damage the reputation of your institution. So if you want to survive, and you want to have a sustainable outlook, I think for me, yeah, grants, yes, but let's also not be driven by grants. Let be people who are actually after what their efforts can actually be able to be seen. Tusikuwe watu wa kudriviwa na mambo ya grants, mambo ya kupatiwa vitu kama hizo.
What if
I
you're
believe-
good at it?
Sorry?
What if you're good at getting grants?
The reason why I'm saying that is because some of these grants comes with conditions, and also some of these grants, they are given without clear guideline, without clear vision. And for example, they might come and you see, at the end of the day, those grants don't come 100%. You find a group is also expected to chip in something. I'll give you an example of a cooperative that we visited. And they were very good at what Ceci has actually said. That the county government ikitaka kupatiana kitu ilikuwa inaona hiyo cooperative. But at the end of the day, the county government ilikuwa ina make sure pia, as they give those things, they're also contributing in terms of, well, like for example, wacha tuchukue these cooling ducts. Unaona hizi vitu za kupasteurize milk, si ndio? So that thing requires you to have a place or a land, for example, for it to be installed. Si ndio? Remember, these are young cooperative that is only doing like 1,000 liters per day na imepatiwa kula ya 10,000 liters. Kama ushaifanya financial management, uangalie story ya utilization of resources. Here you have a cooler that is supposed to be utilized for 10,000 liters, lakini wewe uko na 1,000 liters. Hii kitu inatumia electricity, si ndio? Imelalia shamba ya mtu. Lazima wajiri security, si ndio? Lazima waandike wajiri Stacy ambaye wanakuja man, wale watu wanaleta nini? So are you getting what I'm saying? So yes, the idea is good, but also wewe mwenyewe hata kumaintain ile gari hauwezani nayo, lakini sura ya gari unataka tu Mercedes. Yes, fueling peke yake huwezi. So that's why I'm saying yes, there are good things that can we be able to manage what we can be able to accomplish. So basically, they are very good things, but at the end of the day, there is a cost. Funds to Edward on lending, whereby you are also supposed to be paying. I think that one I will take. Juu pesa ya kupatiwa bure, kwanza wakisikia hii ni pesa ya county government, watalipa kweli? See, those are some of the things that you need to manage. They are very sweet, Stacy. Unakuja unaambiwa hapa tuko na milioni 100. Unataka upatie members. Waacha Brian aende asikie hiyo pesa imetoka kwa serikali. Alafu wewe ukaita. Pesa ya bure alafu sasa unakuja kutuitisha. That's why you see, even us as we lend, like for example, if we decide to lend to Casco, for example. Once we lend to Casco, our face is actually removed. So that members don't come and start saying, hii pesa ni ya NGO. Mpatiwa pesa na NGO, sasa mnatukopesha alafu mnakuja kutuitisha pesa ya bure. Is that kind of stuff? That is how now reputation of this come on. So I would say yes, go for those grants, but also manage what you can. Ni sawa? Tuko bado kwa county government. Yes, Simon.
Maybe to clarify,
Mm.
I believe as county government gives these funds specifically maybe to support youth groups. Now that comes to the agripreneur, that association. And since we are like one thing, that's why maybe at one point to my
That one is perfect. Hiyo nimeelewa kabisa. That whatever they are doing, their capacity on enhancing the capacity of the youth on the association side, which is actually uplifting the businesses of these youth, so that a youth comes to borrow from the Sacco, is capable enough of, hiyo ni sawa. And those are the kind of partnerships that you actually be forging for. If you have a county government that is ready to support the youth on the side of farming, on the side of market linkages, even financial linkages, go for it. Lakini kwa upande ya Sacco, tukue very careful. So let's talk of capacity. Capacity enhancement, ndio kitu moja county government hufanya, apart from certification and registration, they are also assisting us in terms of training our members. So what train? When you are forming the Sacco, see, they normally come in handy in terms of trainings.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other? Yes, Brian.
I'm not sure of it, but I can try.
Lisema hakuna
They rate performance, hence putting the circle.
So we are talking of supervisory or oversight.
Yeah.
Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Mengine? Madri leo manze na simu jo. Wafuasi
Mama Kanisa.
Mama Kanisa.
Time paper.
Unajua yesterday when I was just studying behind alikuwa anaona tu anatumia tu herself. Kuna video siku hizi simu zinachukua sasa, you can be able now to see yourself. My brother, umenyamaza sana. Patie kitu moja basi. Calm down. Unashika mita. Any other? Or we move to yes, Edward.
Another one is auditing.
Auditing, yes.
They are our appointed auditors.
Auditing.
For the Sacco.
Hiyo pia nitataka my brother ongea juu yake juu hiyo. You liking to talk about something about auditing, especially when you are being audited by the county under the commissioner. So, sio unajiita county commissioner ama wanajitanga
County auditor of cooperative.
county auditors of cooperative. Wako kwa county, eh?
Yes. But the challenge is there are very few, like in our county, we only have 2 auditors. But we have more than 100 samples. So even right now, we have not yet carried out our exam because our books, I presented there our books early this year, but up to date, we have not yet received the audit report. So it's taking almost a year. I can say even 1 year before we receive the audit report.
Yes.
But when we ask every time, we are told we are still auditing other cooperatives. So that's the challenge. And you know, we tried even to shift to a private auditor and then they refused. They
Wakakata.
they have to audit us. But they take a longer time.
Hiyo tulikuwa nataka comment kidogo kuhusu mambo ya audit. We are under the county government. And one of the areas or the roles that my group is actually sharing is about now auditing through the county or rather the commissioner's office. So basically what I've gathered from Edward is that one is that the numbers are few, and also you remember our what we try to promote in as far as auditing is concerned through the office of the cooperative. So I don't know. Maybe you can share some comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Tuangushe. Naona watu umejishikia hivi sijui. Now, we are under the armpit of the Cooperative Act. Ni kweli? And being under the armpit of the Cooperative Act, you'll be able to see one of the responsibilities of the directors is to cause to be audited the books of a Sacco. That's a no, it's not negotiable. Okay. However, in the Cooperative Act also, it stipulates that it is the one which approves the auditing firms that can actually audit cooperatives. It is a Sacco cooperative. Yes. If you go to SASRA, there's also a list of auditors that have been sanctioned to perform the work of auditing SASRA regulated SACCOs. Now, what are the best practice? The best practice is we ask ourselves, what is the role of a county government? They come to your AGM, isn't it? As who? Okay. As a supervisory body, oversight body, to let me use a better English name, to satisfy themselves that you have been compliant with the provisions of the companies when you're holding an AGM. Super. So the question we should ask, or normally we ask ourselves, is how can a supervisor be an auditor? Okay. The auditors within the scope of the county government, they normally are highly utilized when there is a challenge of a Sacco. Come and see what are you doing. They can do a due diligence, forensic, all that. Really. However, they can also check whether your books are being audited well. Tuko pamoja? Meaning, what role are they playing? Supervisor. Now, we are in catch 22. And I'm saying we as Sacco. Sindio? Sacco. Why is because why they would want to continue giving that service to the Sacco is because there's a revenue which is being received. So let's be honest, who do you pay that money? Is it an individual or is it the county government? Edward ndio atatuambia.
We pay to an individual, then he gives us the receipt. The county government.
Jina imeandikwa nani? Check imeandikwa nani? It can either be check or cash. Ni kweli? Wacha tuongee cha ukweli. Hiyo pesa kuna bali imefikia county. Umepatiwa receipt ya county ya kubangaiza, si ndio? Ya kubangaiza. And that's why they will never ever tell you go to an independent auditor. That is number one. Number two, that's why you will be always at their mercy to complete your audit. Why should it take up to me for a Sacco of 100 members to complete the audit? Kwani kuna transaction gapi? Now, so what is my advice? Exactly. So what is my advice? My advice is that you never went to an AGM to select an auditor. Did you go to an agent to say who will audit you? And that is one of the decisions which is done by AGM. Okay? Number two, before you go to an AGM, as a management and the board, you need to have done some survey of how much will it cost you for an independent auditor to audit you given the number of transactions. Then you can be able to have what we call a market information. As you go to the AGM, you needed also to have done what is called procurement, to invite certain firms to bid for offering the services of the audit. So that when you have three at the board level and at the management level, you have identified one or two. So you are going to the board to say, we want to switch to an independent auditor, blah, 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 blah. These are the advantages. It is taking too long, blah. My friend, akiwa amesimama hapo, I know he will say, it is not possible. But you need to be armed with what? What do you need to be armed with? The Company Act. It is the responsibility of the board members and the AGM to decide who audits them. Now, this is, if I were in your shoes, the easiest way to approach this is that go to a firm. You don't have a lot of transaction, okay? 2 or 3, tell them, look, we want to engage you, but you don't want to engage you through a process that is very elaborate, okay? You want that when we assign you the job of audit, you charge us with the magnitude of our business. The magnitude of our business cannot consume more than 30,000. Utapata au utapata? Utapata. One of the things I'm very sure, the county government auditors may be cheap. Or alternatively, can be expensive. But those two are not comparable with quality and timeliness. They cannot be compared. Time of delivery and the quality of the audit, they'll never be compared. Okay. So it's about a matter of awareness. And if we want to move to the next level, it is inevitable. Okay. That you need to take a route that is very different from being audited by the county officers. If you go to their
there's a time we tried a different route of getting a different independent auditor. Then once the report was through, we took it to county government.
refused to sign.
They refused. And then the auditor, we had gotten that list from the same county government.
They said it's not in the list.
They said it's not in the list. Now, we always find ourselves in
And you'll find yourself in those.
it is a dilemma.
Yes.
Because once we get an independent auditor, and maybe there are approvals to be done by the county for our Sacco, they will even refuse to do approvals for us because we are not engaging them.
Yes.
And at the same time, they want us to engage them as the auditors and then also as the supervisors, as oversight. So
it is wrong. One of the things that I'll tell you is that as you start the year, right to the county, they give you an official list of approved auditors. They cannot be approving here. If they have approved auditors, then who are they? Fully stamped, ukae naye. Okay? After 6 months, request for another list of approved auditors. Because by the way inaweza change kulingana na who is there. Nani anachota vizuri. Okay? And one of the things that happens is if you get an auditor that is not in good relationship with those officers, your account will not pass. You get. But what we are looking for is when you get an independent auditor, my friend, he's number one. He's under which body? His back. And means that he has what is called professional identity. Ya kusema mimi kulingana na fikira zangu, kulingana na vile nimeangalia, these accounts are correct. And when they sign the accounts, do you know what they do? They must put their membership number there. You take a personal responsibility of the audit that you have done. Does it happen the other side? Yeah? No. Does it? My friend, I went to a Sacco and we have been following up on those audits. Now, because they had planned already an AGM on a date called 30th, okay? The audit came on 29th. Hata ukiwa uko genius namna gani, with the board seats to discuss the financials. Si mnazipeleka tu hivyo. And one of them is that organization that I told you. Ama si hapa nilipatiana hiyo story. The chairman was driving a gari ya si hapa. And apatia hiyo story. Case study. You know, you see the dates that the AGM was held. Then you see the date when the accounts were stamped. Then there's a problem. Because when were they distributed to members? You get. The best practice is that get the approved list once biannually from the county, so that when you're engaging someone who is in the approved list. Now, when you have your accounts that they are not being approved because of APCV, go back to the auditor. Okay? Yeah, amesema you are not in the approved list. So, can you follow up? You get. Of course, ataenda kuachota kitu kidogo, ama ataenda kucomplain. Akienda kucomplain ataambiwa, no, nobody told him like that. Okay? But let me tell you, quality and speed of doing it is not comparable to the cost. Because how do members go a whole 1 year without an audit? And you're supposed to hold your AGM by the 30th of April. So how do you explain? In fact, they actually promote bad governance. And they're saying they are stakeholders. Super. Yeah. So for me is that take the bold step. Do your homework. Doesn't have to be the end of this year. Do your homework next year completely. Engage, get the list, be briefed about the cooperative act, what it provides, you know. Ask how much it will cost you from different auditors. You know, unawaitisha tu quotation, yeah, because you're not doing procurement, you just want to have information. Then when you decide that this is the route you are going, you already have 4 or 3 names. You see, una publish, unawambia, then you have a quotation. Then you can make the decision. But the truth of the matter is that it is not good for the supervisor to be the auditor. Sasa.
So, if I have followed Edward very well, you are saying the auditor they got it from the county. Meaning this thing, it is heritable. And the only solution for that, according to me, it is you and us as a Sacco, we join hands so that we can stop that to the county. Because
even if we go there today and we succeed on that, in the near future it will repeat itself. It will be like itakuwa ni kama sasa mazoea county.
Yeah. Let me give you a feedback. There's a client that you are financing, they're in Bomet. He started as young as you, and a cooperative that we have been financing, it's in a cooperative. And when we started working with them, the first condition was next year we want an independent audit. You know you have no other alternative. Who is giving you resources? Tunakwambia we can work with you. How much do you want? 30 million. Nimekuwa price, we can be able to. The only thing between me and you is an independent audit. Unang'ang'ana na si unaambia tu hii story, wacha tupelekane nayo to the next level. You see? You go to the bank, they will need audited accounts, not from the county, they will need from an independent auditor. You come to us, the same. Okay? Now, wakileta story, tunakuandikia barua. We are willing to work with you. We have discussed the following, blah, 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 blah. But unfortunately, we need an independent opinion of your audited books from an independent auditor, not county representatives. Because what happens is that one of the power about audit is a third party opinion of a certified person. Hata mimi nikikuja kuniita nikakuja niwafanyie audit. Tuko pamoja? Lakini conflict of interest iko hapo ndani. You get? Yeah? So to answer you, this is how it happens. AGM, first of all, it passes that in our next year agenda, accounts the 20, remember AGM next year, and assuming the AGM is happening before April, meaning now you'll be talking that audit year 2024 must be under an independent auditor. My friend, nobody can tell you not to pass a resolution. That is number one. No, just number two, that officer will be in that meeting. Okay? He will start saying it is not possible. Who is supposed to tell him it's possible? Is the director. Okay? We have partners that cannot work with this audited report. We have read the Cooperative Act, and we have seen the value of having an independent auditor. So for us, we are passing this resolution. Him is to supervise how the resolution will be passed. Okay? In fact, if you look at the majority of their input in the HDM, it's just to support the Sacco, to give feedback to the members. Okay? Not to start fighting with the board. Tuko pamoja? Because the board has made a decision. They are placing a decision to the members. Okay? Now is to support the board on giving feedback to the members. Okay? And one of the basic questions is, who is being paid? Ni kama mimi nikuja hapa niseme nataka kuwapatia loan. Lakini kwa sababu account zenu sio nzuri, Mespt itawasaidia kufanya nini? Kufanya audit. Lakini hiyo Mespt si ni mimi. Si tuko hapa. So you expect to pay an invoice to Mespt, isn't it? Nikikuja nikwambie hata usiandike check. Weka M-Pesa. Kwani invoice itakosa? Itapatikana tu, si ndio? And when you go there, you realize that it's not Mespt which did it. It's an individual who is employed in it. And his subjectiveness is very high. It's not objective. Because he will drive the name. Yes. So for your matter, we cannot influence, because one of the things we are going to tell you is that, of course, harmony with the county is important. Yeah. That one is very important. Even if it takes 2 years to achieve that, it's okay. But msidanganywe tafadhali. lazima. It is not. Na ikipasiwa kwa resolution ya AGM, nobody can change.
Yeah, in our case, maybe just to seek a legal advice or maybe a better way to handle it. We can say we have had 2 years without a year plus without an AGM. The decision to seek an independent auditor was not made. So should the management go for that independent auditor, or should they call for a special AGM? We appoint an auditor, then after the audited accounts, we hold an AGM. Which way?
Good. Of course, I didn't have the background. So you have not had an AGM for how long?
Just in addition to that, can remember together. It was I think during June this year, whereby we were to head a
Special.
special general meeting. But the issue of the audit came out and they postponed the same issue.
Because it was not delivered.
Yeah, because it was not delivered. So I think, as you have said, it's almost 2 years. We haven't had an AGM. Now we push it the next year, it will be 2 years plus.
Okay. You have one limitation. Did you have your first AGM? You cannot have the first meeting being a special general meeting, unfortunately. That is the rule of there must be the first AGM of the Sacco.
The person was done when the Sacco was starting.
That was when the Sacco was starting.
Yeah, that was the first AGM.
It may not be.
Is it just AGM?
It's what were you discussing?
Just
voting the members.
Any of the members here who participated in that. You can find maybe one or even none.
So the first AGM must happen. Let us be honest. Unajua nimekuja kuambia ile mambo mnapaswa kufanya ndio tutoke kwa mtandao wa case studies angushia bahati. But is very simple, bad example. Case study.
A case study can be positive or negative.
Yes. Lakini sasa hapo kuna opportunity ya kusema case study mzuri ama case study nyingine. Unajua case study inafanya can be featured. Unajua you are featured or not. So the first AGM is mandatory. And the first AGM is held. Okay, this one is from a company law. It's held within 12 or 18 months of formation.
Not earlier than.
Not earlier than that.
Then it has not been there.
No.
Yeah.
12 or 18 months of formation. Okay. That is from a company law. It is a company limited by shares. So borrowing from there, I don't know. I can't. I will not cheat you that I know the limitation of number of months, but ordinarily, 2 months is 2 years is too. 3 years is extremely. And what does that mean? What it means is that if the board members are willing to have an AGM, if the management is, is desirous of having an AGM, the challenge we have is that the members that are supposed to participate in the AGM, they think he's a board member. They think he's a management. Because hakuna mahali uko na opportunity ya kuulizwa maswali. Possibly ndio ikuwe postponed bulitumiwa text. Unaona? Ama something more. You never had one-on-one engagement. My friend. If there's something which can kill a Sacco, is virtual engagement of the negative issues. This, there's an expectation. Wacha tuende tusikie vile iko. Tumepost. Kwani kumendaje? Respond. Financial audit. Yuko kuna shida. Nataka kufanya audit. Hata si audit hajakamilika kufanya wafanya. So I think it's an area that Edward, we need to work together because we need to, or to even work and discuss more. But I would play very hard that the county, a letter is given to the county government that in the spirit of good governance, in the spirit of keeping the Sacco united, and in the spirit of the reputation of the individual board members who have sacrificed so much, you see, we need them to give us the audit. Number two, there could be a discretion that can be held by the board members, and they appoint the first auditor. He audits the books, then he comes into the AGM, present. Then from there, you have now the responsibility of making a decision on who can be appointed. Because for the appointment of the auditor to happen, it must have happened also at the board. Because hamtaambiwa endeni mchague watatu, mmechagua kutoka wapi? Si lazima majina yaletwe. Yanaletwa na nani? A board. And for me, because that is within your ambit, that is what I will go for. Your audit imekaa sawa. My friend, we get someone who does audit for the last 3 years. Okay, we agree. And you have a very clear way of how you have selected. You have 2 or 3 quotations from 3 auditors. You have a sitting in terms of discussion. Okay, and you say, we found Jack Associate to be giving us value because of ABCD. So you also have an evaluation report. Okay, then he does the audit. Or you call even a special general meeting. Let him first of all be appointed. Because now 3 years, well, happen is here. So we need to consult further. I can talk to the Commissioner of Cooperative and hear what he has to advise. Then, unajua ikitoka hapo juu, be assured, it will not change. Hata sitasema ni Sacco gani, nikisema ni Sacco gani kutakuwa shida. So, and basically because it's a Sacco that is drawing youth from to come to the Sacco by not giving them what they expect. They give up very easy. Yes. They give up very easy. You know? So I agree with my brother here. I think there's more engagement with the management just to guide them on what areas they need to, what steps they need to take. Since Angushia.
It was quite interesting, isn't it? I hope now we are learning. As we progress, we are still taking our expectation. You had a question, sir? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Now that the county government is one of the stories to supervise and oversee, and then the Sacco decides to go for independent auditor. What if the independent auditor now comes with the true, according to the
true and fair position?
Yes, then the records are not correct. What will be the next step of him or her?
You know, when there's an audit, there's a finding. The finding could be true and fair possession exists. The other position will be qualified, isn't it? That the books do not represent true and fair possession. Hamtakufa boss. Na hamtachukua ma tweaks. Okay? What will happen is that the findings should help the management and the board to ensure that it is not done next year. Whatever has been found not to be okay, need to be corrected. Okay? What can make it more glaring is if there is fraud. Okay? Unajua, because of lack of structures, mnaweza kuwa mja keep the records properly. Okay? But there is no evidence that there was money loss. Okay? No, those are two different things. Because fraud is actually a money loss, isn't it? So as far as there's no fraud, as far as there's no money loss, then if he's only keeping the data well, then the best remedy is to make sure that we put mechanism in place. Kama ni accountant to employ separately, kama ni system to work. You see, you remember those things that can help us to keep the right track.
I think also the audit report should come with resolutions.
No, the audit report comes with what we call management letter. Management letter is a finding that we did. It will not appear in the main report because majority of data are so detailed. It comes with management letter. That management letter must be in the hands of the supervisory committee. Okay, so when there's an audit ongoing, the supervisory committee should be very active. Because how do you can come and tell me as a chairman that ABCD is wrong? Hapana, hiyo ilikuwa ABCD. No, tuambie tukiwa sote ndio explain, twende to find out hivyo nasema. Now, and I said let's focus on the positive. Because we are where we are because we are there. It's not happening to people who are dead. It's happening to us because we are alive. So first of all, you appreciate we're experiencing these things because we are alive. Number two, because we made a decision to be in the Sacco. And ni Sacco yetu. Utasema ati wacha ni withdraw. Shares zako bado ziko. The best opportunity when you get challenge is watu waungane pamoja. Let's address the challenge positively. You see? Unless someone has actually has shown intention that it was an intended activity that either to defraud or ABC. You see? So my perspective is that the management letter is very detailed. Item by item. Okay, let me give an example for lack of a good example. Watatuambia mshahara ya Edward ile tulikuwa tumeagree ni 20,000. Lakini tumegundua anajilipanga 30,000. Okay? You see, that is not something to come to the AGM. Ni kweli. Lakini it must come to the board. And it must come to the supervisor. Because we can correct the mistake. You get? Hatutaenda kumpiga, hatutaenda kusema ni mwizi, okay? He thought he would not find, isn't it? Now we have found out. So now the mechanism of recovery is what we want. There are 3 or 4. 1, suspend him. Si kweli? 2, recover from his salary. 3, make sure you have an independent, someone who is different from them. I'm giving that as an example. For example, let's go to another one. We said that we have found that the analysis of the vote, okay, that is bad. You know, with the level of activity that you have, it's not reasonable. Okay, so the question is, who measures reasonability? Nobody, isn't it? Lakini jamaa ametuambia comparative to other Saccos and the level of your activity. So now hapo mtasema ati walijipenda, tutasema hapo logic haikutumiwa, si ndio? So what are you being invited? It will give a recommendation. Review the allowances downwards or minimize the meetings of the board. Hizo ni vitu tunaweza kosa kufanya. Do they cause us to go to the street? No. Yes. You see, I give another example that this one now is where it can cause us to go to the street. That the audit comes and says that the record of members' savings is not reconciling. Ambatani. How do they confirm that it's not reconciling? Because atapigia customer huyu moja simu, you say how are you, fine, blah blah blah. Give us a position of your blah. No? Atasema A, B and C. Okay? Like now, for us, we write letters. We write the auditor write letters to Saccos. Lisa, we have this loan. We want you to confirm what is the balance at the end of the year. Independently. Hiyo barua hata hakuna parent aliona. Okay? But what we make sure is that mwaka ikiisha hivi, by 15th January, tumewatumia nini? Tumewatumia nini? Loan statements. Na tunawapatia 5 days to confirm to Jack and me whether they have a challenge with the loan statement. Okay? What will happen is they will use that loan statement to confirm the balance. Now, can I send a loan statement if I did not, if I'm sure I have not updated the account well? I'm not. Si ndio? Nitakirieti ki bangaiza hapo niseme hata huyu customer achukuangi simu. Hata tunamfuata. Kuna kashida, unaona? That's a respect. But where you are providing information, so that is it. So when they are written the letters, there's a place that they are supposed to put the actual amount by hand and sign and stamp, then they scan back. Bana, hata mimi nikisimama pale, siko sawa? Yeah, wanasema twende kazi. Okay? Now, if those two are not reconciling, they will not first of all go to the board. They will come to us. Huyu customer amesema kuna pesa alilipa na ilikuwa updated. Hapo sasa kashita kana. Okay? Where do you think I start? I start by telling him, bring evidence. Si, ile nimekupatia ni ile niko nayo, si ndio? Haya wewe lete hapo my friend. Ulisema ulilipa ukalipa wapi? Let evidence. Kwa sababu kwetu hawezi lipa kwa kupatiana pesa cash. You have to pay through an account. So, let evidence. Okay? Kama hana, hiyo story inaishia. Are you seeing transparency? Unasimama on top of the hill, waiting for ammunition, or closing your eyes and saying, you are whiter than the snow. Okay? Now, when the savings of members does not reconcile, sio member moja, sio member mbili, sio watatu, you know what happens? Aggregate them. You find ni kamilioni kamoja kameenda. Hapo utaulizana maswali. Because yangu moja na yangu moja, it may look small. Okay? Lakini zikiunganishwa. Let me give you a story. Jack, have a seat. When I was working in the bank, I did not expect you to give you this story like that. This is very important. So that you see reconciliation part in Nigeria. When I was working in the bank, there was a teller. This teller was serving bulk customers. Bulk customers. So this is nini nilimshika. Akaanza biashara ya hoteli. Bar nini. So because of purchase of stock, akaona the easiest way to get money is to bangaiza clients. So mimi nakuja na 1000 yangu 20 ama 100 na napatia teller. Anahesabu vizuri. Iko sawa. Na tick. You know that time when we used to tick, you know that 1500 total iko sawa. Napiga stamp na nasema, I'm sorry. Unaniambia I'm sorry Elliot. Our system iko down. Yes, nita-update baadaye. Naona nachukua naweka. Kuna pale nitakuwa reconcile. Hiyo karatasi yako nakuja vizuri. Hakuna kwa system. Against atupa karatasi. Okay? Because I need to post even if it's later. Even if it's after 1 week. Haya, mwingine anakuja. My friend, she did that to several. I would say stupidity. The stupidity in him is that instead ya kuibia an individual person, anaibia nini? Kampuni. Naenda KTDA, unawaibia. Sijui kampuni ya mafuta unaibia. They do reconciliation every day. They do reconciliation every day. So wakikuja the following morning, wait, siku update. Hebu niletee hiyo karatasi yako. Now iko sawa. Okay? Wewe unafikiria yes, innocent. My friend, Me, I don't know what happened. One of the companies discovered and they never said. But they made sure every Monday anatuma one customer. Accountant anaenda kwake ka. Same. Anaenda kwake ka. Every Monday, 3 weeks. Siku moja wakakuja na receipts. Ingia kwa manager. Hapa mko na mwizi. Yeah. Mwizi. What do you mean? Yeah. Okay, sit down. Now look at my account. You can see these are not posted. That 3 weeks. Every month. So jamaa anaangalia anaona ni kweli. Kwa hii account kuna pesa kama hii. Lakini stamp ni yetu. Na system hii signature system hakuna haijaharibika. Haijaharibika. System ya banki haijaharibika. So wanaenda sasa akaambia customer go to the counter and start complaining from there. Mimi nitakuwa hapa nyuma hata niona. I'll be listening. Okay? Anakuja na mwambia, my brother, what happened? This I can see you are the one who posted this. It's not posted. What do you mean? Yeah? Anampatia ya kwanza. Let me see. Papa, no. You see, just see and bring my paper back. And what about this? And what about this? Allah? Yani you mean I have never? You are thief. Kijana kuitwa thief. Sasa unajua nafikiria watu wajui kwanza kuattack customer. You see? You are waste. My friend, manager akaingia. Funga sanduku tafadhali. Si yako na evidence sasa. Funga sanduku tafadhali. Bring your vouchers zile umekota leo. The same day alikuwa ameambia wawili. The same day. Yeah? So when we went and counted the money and the deposits that he has received, the money is more compared. Okay? Compared na because anajua receipt hizi anaziweka kando. So amekutwa kama everything. Hata hivi vitabu zako zote weka kwa box. Okay? Naambia simama fanya hivi. Hamna kitu huku chini kulanga. Kwa hivyo pesa bado iko kwa box. Pesa ni excess kuliko zile posted. Naanza kucheck. What has not hii hajapostiwa, hii hajapostiwa. Sasa si hapo umeenda.
Umeenda kazi imeisha umeenda ndani.
So the moral of the story is okay? It's where reconciliation of the deposit, yeah, customer, that is the member, and what is held by the Sacco does not reconcile. It means there must be somewhere that reconciliation is going. Okay? And if we call you and you tell us your savings is 20,000, you come to the book, your savings is 15,000. So it's the 5,000.
System.
Hiyo inaweza fanya watu waende kwa street. Sababu ni pesa yao. So, and that's why an independent auditor would be good. If he's a county auditor, ataambiwa aje, wewe nyamazia hii story. Tuko tunakulipa 20,000. Acha tukuongeze 50. Tuko pamoja? Will you ever know that there was no reconciliation? Why? It's because they are driven by money. The other side, they are driven by quality. Okay? So let's not re-emphasize so much. I think the story is home. Sindio?
Yeah.
Haya.
I think this stakeholder thing is quite interesting, isn't it? Hii sasa kwanza tufunge mambo ya county government kwenda kwa the next one because
Nilikuwa number 2.
at this age sorry kama tutamaliza hii stakeholder now. But it's quite interesting because at the end of the day we are getting value, isn't it? Mambo tu na kuongea tu.
What we should always avoid is to antagonize the county. So ukiona watu wanaenda polepole, ndio hata yeye kuna interest na manage, si ndio? Hata mimi nikiwa hapo, I would like to manage the interest. But manage them to an extent that we are not creating antagonism.
Haya, twende kwa the third stakeholder. Nani? Tumeongea mambo ya member, tumeongea mambo ya county government. Who is the third one?
Investors.
Next
Financial
one.
institutions.
Yeah, financial institutions. What is their role?
Offer financial support.
Financial support. Kweli? Ulisema hapa ni kuagree ama kudisagree? Is it their role?
Training.
Nasema nauliza hii bahati.
Yes.
Hii ya kwanza iko sawa. Are we in agreement with the first one?
That's what I'm in agreement. Because even the teacher was telling us that sometimes even at the Sacco you can find that the savings, they survey those ones that are borrowing that are superseding those ones that.
I said.
Yes. So you can approach a financial institution and sit down and look at the situation. And then they can give you some money to do business. Yes.
But before we engage that route, what should we do first? Which is the most key and most practical thing of fundraising from a Sacco perspective before we engage the financial institutions? And which financial institutions are we referring to when we are talking of a Sacco?
Banks.
Ndio ya kwanza amesema sana ama here I'm looking at it from an interest perspective. Whereby currently, what is the current interest rate that is being offered by, for example, Equity? 16%. Let's take it for 16%. And how much are we as members? Tunapatiwa loan na interest ya ngapi? 12%. So are those too much? So before even we think of engaging the financial institution, my urge is, can we first of all look inside and see what can we do to our members to increase their remember savings are zero rate. Hakuna mahali huyu mwananchi anadai kitu. So you are using his money or her money for that matter. Mkirent, whatever you gain at the end of the day is what you pay him or her as interest. Isn't it? Lakini saa zile anakupatia hakuna mahali mnaandikiananga tutakuwa nalipa hizi savings at 10%. Si ndio? So basically, let's first of all look inward before going externally. I know these are very nice routes. They're very easy. It's one of the most ile tu inakuanga tu, yani hata mkifikiria tu mambo ya fundraising, kile kitu inakuja kwa mind ya watu ni mambo ya kuendea loans. You wanted to say something, but
just to add something on what you're saying, it's very much important to what you are saying from, for example, looking at the internal sources.
Yes.
But also we need to understand that internal sources means empowering. Example I'm going to give it might look sensitive, but it's the practical one. Like the current regime of the government, where the president is insisting so much on internal savings, so that the government can even be borrowing internally as opposed to externally.
Yes.
But you see, before we do that civic education and people understand the importance of that, the government must also run. So it also forces the same government to go outside and get those external before they develop those structures and carry out civic education, so that we can save internally to become an SSF, so that even the government can be borrowing internally at those convenient rates.
Right. But for the purpose of this meeting and for the purpose of the Sacco, at the stage that the Sacco is, I think it will be important for us to start engaging members through civic education, as my brother is saying, through financial literacy, the reasons as to why they have to save. If they are seeking for something, hiyo kitu kidogo ama hiyo kakitu, at the end of the year, you need also to give us your resources. So basically, I think for me, it is quite timely that we are having this discussion. This is a young Sacco that I will be very much happy if I come like 2 or 3 years down the line to find out that you are still using your internal resources to enable your members. You have very bright members. Umesikia kama hiyo idea ya Bahati. So let's try and educate our members on the importance of doing the savings before even we engage financial institutions. There's another one he had said about capacity building. Yes, there are banks that normally offer such, which is also key for our members, financial literacy for that matter.
Combine it with financial literacy,
Capacity building, yeah? It is also, it's actually the same, eh? Financial literacy. Any other financial institutions? Tuende kwa ya nne, si ndio? Kuna mtu nimefungia?
bank huko. Pesa zetu tunapelekanga bank.
Let's talk of financial support. Eh? I'm looking at financial support now, encompassing all that. Eh? Si ndio? Who is the fourth stakeholder? Partners. Tuwaite nani sasa? Tuwaite tu partners.
Investors.
Unajua kuna mmoja ambaye unasahau kabisa. I'm trying to get. Kuna mmoja mnasahau. Where do we get our members from?
From the association.
Eh?
From the association.
Sana.
Hii watu mmetoka wapi sasa?
Public. No. Farmers.
The community.
The community, yes.
Angushia yeye.
Community for us is one of the key stakeholders that we must manage.
Umetukubali kufanyia.
Yes. Without the community, you will not be able to get the members. And that's why at the any kind of business that you are conducting, if you are not in good terms with the community, hata kupata hao members itakuwa shida. So community alishapatia roho ya kwanza, which is
recruiting members.
Potential members.
That's where we get our members from, studio. Membership. Any other? Kama ni hiyo tu.
Ingine, good reputation. Jua karibu ukiwa wanasema jina hiyo Sacco mbaya, lakini kwa tuko bado. Since wanatuona kama watu wazuri.
So, Lord. What role can we get from that? From what Simon has said? Ni role gani ambayo community ina function from that perspective?
Yes, the community also it's coming in handy in providing conducive environment for the Sacco to carry out its activity.
And provide the environment. Because that is why you conduct your businesses, ndio. Haya, halafu ya tano ilikuwa partners. Partnerships now, we talk of county government is a partner. Tunataka tumuite aje?
Then be specific.
Apart from the word partners. As a county government is partners. Let's be a bit specific. We have talked of community, financial institution. Or financial institution is also a partner, isn't it? Yes, brother. Donors. NGOs and donors.
So non-governmental organizations or development organizations.
NGOs, development organizations or donors. What is their role? Capacity, eh? Yes. Automatic. Any other role that they play? Who does the work of advocacy?
So in Sacco, do you need advocacy? You need marketing,
Yes.
So I think sana ni capacity.
Capacity, eh? Yes. Any other before tufunge?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Manuel.
In my opinion, should we call this list as organizations with interest?
Yes, these are our stakeholders that as we conduct our business, we should always be having in mind key stakeholders. Key stakeholders. You should always, as you conduct your business in the community, you manage whatever you are doing not to affect the community. Because if you affect the community automatically, you not get members.
In my opinion, I'm about number 5. This should just be examples, but the umbrella should be organizations with interest. Because an NGO might be having an interest in what we are doing as agriculture. Donors might be having an interest in what we are doing.
So we talk of organizations with interest.
Yes.
Actually, business partners. Same organizations with interest.
Yes.
Haya, sawa sawa basi. I think that one is done. Ama kuna mwingine?
Before we move, on that financial institution,
Yes.
can we say they put our circles on toes? Because according to my thinking, those financial institutions like banks, they give those circles some target. For example, a month, you need to reach this amount of money on your savings, or you need to deposit this amount of money for your savings or shares. So, on those savings or shares or that limit they give, it is one thing to put those circles on toes.
Yeah, we can talk of such, but when I look at all the stakeholders, remember all the stakeholders that are involved here, we have some responsibilities that we are supposed to meet. So they are all of them, they are actually keeping us prior. Not only the financial institutions who are going to give you the targets when you borrow from them, even the community is also giving you some responsibilities. The NGOs, as Benjamin has said, organizations with interest. The interest that they have is actually going to give you some responsibilities, isn't it? The same case to the members. Members, they have given you those responsibilities to do it. You actually give them services, isn't it? Yeah.
Question.
Yes, this.
Can we say customers can also be stakeholders?
And who are the customers in this case?
The members. Yes. Now, I tend not to know how to differentiate the members and the customer. How are they the customer?
What did we say? Oh, you wanted to answer, Benjamin?
Yeah.
The
members will become customers in the interest to promote the business of the Sacco.
So remember,
secondly, for you to qualify to be the customer of that Sacco, you need to be the member so that you transact their business.
And can the community also be a customer? Because they are potential customers.
But who is a community?
The communities are the members.
For you to be called a community,
like the ones who have not joined.
What constitutes a community?
Let me define for her community. A community is a segment of people in a certain area. So kama hawa ni watu already. But members specifically hapo tunadai members wa Sacco. So that's now the difference. Community hapa tunakaa environment surrounding ya community gani?
Swali yake ilikuwa kama hiyo community wanaweza kuwa ndio. You see, it's the one providing membership. So I think you are like fishing from the community to gain from. So the community in this case is a stakeholder because without it you cannot get the members. Then on the other end, when you talk of a difference between a customer and a member, yes, remember what we said about the cardinal rule of a member. Is actually on one hand savings. Then once he supports the Sacco with resources, he's also expecting some credit
and other services.
So he becomes our customer inakaanga two commercials, ndio?
And also as members you can be the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have,
Because we are in the same umbrella.
yeah.
Business community.
We are coexisting within our.
So it's members, customers, community. They're all the same thing.
They are not the same thing. Wewe ambayo umesave pale, you can as well become the customer of that. You're also buying services from the Sacco. In as far as you're giving the resources, you're also buying the services of the Sacco. So when you become now the other side, you become a client. See you? What was the other exercise? I think it was very interesting, especially on the side of, I hope you have learned something about, yes? So we have done the stakeholder part. That's happened. You are a lot of so these indicators that we are going to indicate here. Remember, are the ones which are going to give us, we are going to drive the strategies. And these are some things that we are going to hold you accountable. Sisi tukitoka hapa after 6 months tutakuwa tunakuja kuangalia. One of the indicators that I have already written somewhere is the indication that there will be that conversion from the county arrangement in terms of auditing towards getting somebody externally to start auditing our books. But that one is not something that we are going to be so much to push Edward afanye, because they are also interested parties in this case, the county government, isn't it? So I want us now to look at the growth indicators and the questions I want to draw to the members.
Tupigie Jack. Tuambushie yeye.